Grand Hood Rising Kings and Queens, Trap Witch here in Atlanta, Georgia, coming to bring you a new moon in Libra reading for September 28th, 2019. For those of you who don't know me, I am the Trap Witch. For those of you who do know me, I am the Trap Witch. I am an intercessory healer. I use divination, spirituality in order to be able to help people access their power, access their tools in order to help facilitate healing, overcome obstacles. I'm very action oriented. I believe that we have all the inherent answers within ourselves in order to overcome any adversity. And with tarot, divination, tools of spirituality, I help people bridge the gap over their obstacles in order to live their best life. I have a quick announcement. I am doing a workshop in Atlanta, Georgia, October 19th, 2019. It is a Saturday. It will be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. The price to attend currently right now through Friday is $177. The baseline price is $200 just because of what it's worth between what I bring to the table and also my partner who will be in attendance with me doing cacao ceremony as well as breath work. His name is Inner Light Warrior. He is my partner in collaboration, and we are going to be facilitating a safe space of solitude for people to come learn together, to build connection, open their heart space, and in order to help them gain some clarity on what they can do in their everyday life to create sacred space. The event is called Grace and Hustle is a Sacred Union. You can actually go to my website, thetrapwitch.com/events, go straight to it, or you could go to my Instagram page, instagram.com the Trap Witch, and it's going to be in my highlights. It's going to be under my bio and all that good stuff. We will be in New York the weekend of November 9th. We're going to be announcing that soon. I will be in Los Angeles 10/22 to 10/29. I'm taking a few more appointments. I believe I've already booked 2 of my 10 slots. I have 8 slots left for one-on-one. If you are ready to book now, you can go ahead and send me an email with your weekly availability. Before you pay, do not pay first. Send me your availability, see if our schedules align, if you can get a slot. Then you can go ahead, and once we have confirmed a date and a time, we then therefore can book it and you can get an in-person reading. I will be also doing an event in Atlanta, Georgia again with New Earth Linda on Instagram. We're going to be doing a lot of good things, including she will be facilitating a despacho ceremony. So I'm looking forward to that. And 10/26 in Los Angeles, I will be holding an event. I'm going to be announcing that as well soon in the next coming week or so. So just stay tuned. Price point for every event is going to be between $100 and $200, just based on the investment. People ask me all the time, in my DM, how much are your sessions? And I'm just like, no, it's a solid investment just in yourself to get started. I really believe that as healers, we definitely have to invest in ourselves in order to continue to invest back in our community. So I'm really excited to those who are starting to purchase now their slot for the workshop. It's going to be a great high energy event, high frequency. It's co-ed friendly. Men and women are welcome. We're going to be facilitating a great space for divine feminine and divine masculine. So check that out. Like I said, it's on my website, thetrapwitch.com/events. Grace and Hustle is a Sacred Union is the name of the event, and I'm really looking forward to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get into this reading. It's going to be for the new moon in Libra, September 28th, 2019. I have a moon in Libra. I don't know how Virgo season affected you guys, but it was a lot of rearranging, reorganizing for me. And now I feel like Libra season is getting us into a swing. It almost feels like, a lot of people are going through it this week. A lot of people are coming in full circle with karma. Saturn, Black Moon, and Lilith, from everything that I've been hearing, is kicking people's asses. If you don't know what that means, Soul Garden TV on YouTube. His name is Soul Garden TV. He has beautiful weekly astrological updates that I follow. He makes it really easy to understand. Because I'm not too much into the extra woo-woo, but, so Libra season, it feels like we're coming into balance. It feels like the scales have been swinging all throughout 2019. I will tell you that I believe 2020 2020 is not going to get any better if you're not doing your work, if you're not doing your internal upkeep. So I do feel that, you know, coming into balance this season is all about what you make of it. It's about course correcting. If one side is up too high, you balance it out on the other side. If one is too low, you balance it up by putting something on the other side. So it's just one of those things where, what are you willing to do to recalibrate? What are you willing to do to bring balance to your life? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to pull some cards. I'm going to use the Law of Attraction Tarot, and I'm going to complement it with the Trust Your Vibes deck, and see what they say for this energy. I'm excited. A lot of big things are going down in October. So, you know, October's go season. It's harvest season, the fall. We've just started fall. And a lot of us, I always say when harvest season comes, if you're not reaping the things that you felt like you've sown, then maybe it's time to go back to the drawing board. You should already technically be moving into 2020 with your plans, you know. Every time a season of harvest comes around, if we're not reaping the rewards that we desire, and you know, sometimes it takes 9-10 seasons before something really comes to fruition. But at the same time, if we just find that there's constant chaos, more so just chaos and conflict in our lives, we have to really take inventory and see where it is that we really need to start digging through, prioritizing, categorizing in order to live our best life and do the things and obtain the things that we are truly desiring. So for those of you who feel compelled to book with me, a personal session, coaching, mentorship, intuitive healing, a reading, you can do so on my website, thetrapwitch.com. I will tell you that with all the events about to start going down, sometimes the best access might be doing an event, but still also to go ahead and book if you've been hovering, if you've been procrastinating. I am getting a lot busier. I'm going to be traveling a lot. So it's going to just be a lot of go as we go. So go ahead, get yourself a notebook. I always am really happy when people share with me what sat with them on this reading, what helped them, what brought them clarity, and also what it is that you feel really stood out to you and really touched your heart and maybe opened your mind. So let's get into it, and let's see what New Moon in Libra has to say. Spirit, I call you in on behalf of the collective. I ask for the highest good of all those involved with harm to none. I ask for clarity. I ask for clear perception. I ask Elegua to open the roads to clear messages at this time. What is it subconsciously below the surface, beyond the veil, that can facilitate in the collective's highest good? Allow them to overcome any barriers, obstacles of the physical, spiritual, emotional, or mental kind, and allow them to continue forward on their journey, on their ascension, to be in alignment with all the good things in life that are due to them. Love, happiness, peace of mind, prosperity, all the good things in life. I call in my spirit guides, my ancestors, Egun, all the Orishas that have been bestowed to me and around me, and allow them to help me deliver and be a messenger for this message for New Moon in Libra 2018, September 28th, 2019. Why did I say 2018? I feel like I said 2018. I feel like we're, you know, whatever happened started happening from around this time last year. It's coming too. So take note of that. What started happening, or what was happening at this time last year? I always tell people to look back in your camera roll, in your phone. Look back in your camera roll. See what was going on around there. There might be clues. That's a tool I use all the time, because sometimes things come full circle a year later. See what you were doing. And if you're still saying the same things haven't gotten better, then it's time to definitely course correct. What is it that we need to know for New Moon in Libra 2018? I did it again. 2019. I'm telling y'all, 2018, something in 2018. What do we need to know for 2019? New Moon in Libra, September 28th. Ashe. All right. 3 cards fell out. As soon as I stopped, 3 cards fell out. We're going to do with that, and we'll pull clarity. Ashe. Ashe, ashe, ashe. Don't you always love when the shadow comes and creeps up on you? Some of y'all have been trying to dodge the shadow. Some of y'all have been trying to dodge the shadow. The negative aspects of the shadow. I'm telling you, this week, a lot of shit has happened to a lot of people. A lot of people, like, just chaos. And like I said, from what I've heard, from what I've been watching, a lot of karma's catching up to us. And we're also going through the last purification and recalibration and balancing of the shadow. And one of the best quotes I saw last year said, oftentimes before our blessings materialize, often we receive the shadow aspects of them first before we receive the actual blessing. So it might look like everything is going wrong right before everything goes right. Okay? So how many of you does it feel like you're getting triggered? Like the shadow is following you around? The shadow's following you around. And you know, he looks like a devil. But let me tell you something. A lot of times, the shadow follows us around, and this shadow looks very big, right? Very overpowering. And on his face as well, because he's a masculine, he's very well dressed, right? We can't conceal the shadow for too long. No matter how we try to dress it up, the negative aspects, the really dark aspects of our shadow, no matter how superficial we try to be, they always creep up on us. Especially when situations decide to shine light on them. Because it's so funny, you know, I've never noticed in this card until now, it's a very dim light. But it only takes a minor circumstance to shed light on the shadow. To make you realize that your shadow's still overpowering you. Okay? The shadow side, our positive aspects of our shadow are great. But the negative sides, the things that are really triggering, the things that we know we need to get over. You know, it's funny, the other day I made a post about the devil knowing where you live, right? The devil being in your house. Like, a lot of people think that they can be in their house and that they can hide from the devil. But that's often where the devil visits you the most, in your solitude. Because it lives in here. And so I feel like, you know, even when you go out into the world, you gotta listen to your heart. No matter where you go, the devil's gonna find you. And when I say the devil, if we talk even about, you know, the devil card in the tarot, the things that continue to enslave us. And you don't always want to be looking over your back. You don't always want to be worrying about shadow things of the past, the devils of the past constantly coming up on us and triggering us and trying to overpower us when we're trying to just go about our everyday and go about our life. A lot of you have a desire for a new beginning at this point. You're wanting to take new steps out on things, but at the same time, if in your heart you're still carrying a lot of things that you're trying to hide, no matter how much you try to start a new beginning, you're going to repeat the same stories over and over to yourself. I know all about this. This week, I was replaying a narrative in my head, and I was like, why do you keep saying that? A lot of times when we're wanting to take new steps, and I almost want to say, really, we're starting to feel light about taking new ventures out, right? The second card we had was the Fool in this card, in this deck, right? And it's so funny because there's night and there's day in this card. I've never really paid attention to this card like this, night and day. Duality. Duality. And I love how there's a cat under his foot. Cats are really aligned with psychic ability, listening to our intuition, right? And what I love about this card is that in life, we're always going to have to look at night and day of a situation. We're always going to have to look at the duality of things and know when something is, how do I word this? We have to know when it's in balance, right? And it's not the... You know how it's depressing to live somewhere where it would be dark all year long? Well, the truth of the matter is there is no light without the night. There's no night without the light, right? We go through these cycles. But what I feel is like, don't go through another season where you're repeating the same story, that you can't start something new, that you can't take a new step, that you can't, your mind might be telling you certain things, but your heart, you can't ignore your heart for too long. And I feel a lot of us, we have this constant nagging that our heart's telling us, oh, you deserve more. You don't have to be so superficial. You don't have to feel like you're constantly running from your problems. But until you face them, right? Until you face them, because he's having to turn around and really face the shadow. Until you really face the shadow, instead of running from it and listening to what your heart says about really letting some of these old things out of your heart and getting new fucking stories, whether it's victimization, whether things never go right for you, whether you're never going to have enough, whatever it is, before you're able to have this new beginning, you have to make sure that you reconstruct the narrative. What has your narrative been this season? What is your narrative right now? And is that narrative actually your truth? Or is it a creation of all your wounds that have manifested into the toxicity of the shadow? You know, because when I talk about the shadow, right, the shadow side is often, we use our demons, we use our wounds in order to heal and move forward. But when our demons and our wounds and our things go unhealed, all it does is make us the slave of them and makes it our master. So until you learn to master your wounds, your emotional triggers, what happens is that they master you. So they master you, they follow you, they haunt you, they taunt you. So even let's say if you're talking to someone and you're wanting to start a new relationship. I was talking to someone today, and the feeling of being ignored triggers them. Sometimes people are not ignoring us, they're just busy. But if we've been ignored in the past, that's the wound of being ignored that follows us everywhere. And so therefore, anytime there's too long of a gap of silence or a pause, we think, oh, we're being ignored. Oh, we're being abandoned. That's the story you choose. And the shadow, the negative sides of the shadow, your shadow, and the wounds and the traumas that you allow to follow you around from every story that you've created from the past. And a lot of times, it's like a bad horror story. What happens is that you've created this horror story where you're like, man, everything I do, this is what happens. It's like you believe that the misfortune, you believe that the bad luck, you believe everything is just following you. But until you choose to take control of what's in your heart and change the narrative, you're attaching that narrative to everywhere you're going next. Does that make sense? So instead of attaching that narrative to everywhere you're trying to go, you have to find balance. You have to understand, oh yeah, you know what? In every situation I go through in life, there's always going to be an aspect of things not always being light. There's going to be some darkness, but how can I keep it in balance? How can I use my intuition? How can I use my intuition in order to better assist me as I go forward? Because the truth of the matter is, if we're leaning into the negative side of ourselves and the negativity of the shadow all the time, we can't expect, a lot of times we're not going to expect the things of the universe that we deserve to show up. And there's a lot of things that want to show up for us this season. There's a lot of things that want to show up for this season. Because it's like the admirer, the date. And I feel like accept the gifts of the universe. It's right under it. A lot of us have a date. We have a hot date. We have a hot date with the gifts of the universe. But until we accept a new story, accept a new narrative, accept that we don't have to attach the old aspects of our wounds and shadows anymore as we're going forward, especially if we've dealt with doing the work, they ain't got to come with us. I also feel like, with the date showing up, right? Say, for example, you've gone on 1,000,000 bad dates up until this point. And as you're getting ready, you're feeling just, it's like, If you have that hesitation, you're not going to open your heart to love. You're not going to open your heart to joy. You're not going to open your heart to all the gifts that are awaiting you. It's like someone who says, I don't date these types of men anymore because blah, 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 right? But sometimes that's a story you've told yourself. And what if what's for you comes in the form of every trigger first that you ever had to deal with in your past? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, again, you have to deal with the shadow aspects of things before you get the blessings. So, say for example, in order to receive that relationship you want now, what if the person that you're actually supposed to be in a relationship tries every last bit of your patience? Not in the most negative way, but they just try your patience. And it's not even about trying you. It's about you dealing with yourself. One of the best things one of my friends once told me when I started talking to someone, I remember they had to give me a rain check, and she was like, don't act like a crazy baby mama. And I was like, what does that mean? Like, because say for example, someone has something come up and life happens. You throwing a fit about it. Oh, they don't want to this. Blah, 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 blah. You throwing a fit about it is not going to necessarily even it out. Sometimes if you deal with things positively, in balance, listening to your heart, listening to your intuition, because one of the best things I read today in Learning to Love book was about how when we are love and we emit love, often we can even transmute the best or the worst situations into love, because we are a love. We are extending love. So even if we get our feelings hurt, someone takes a rain check, you know what? Look, it's all love. Life happens. Whatever. Whenever we can get up. Sometimes taking the light approach, listening to your intuition, listening to your heart, maybe it has nothing to do with me. Maybe it's just that they're busy. Maybe the chances of the gifts arriving for you are going to come a lot sooner if you're not attaching a story that might not even be true to it. Remember, right? Listen to your heart. You're always deserving of love. You're always deserving of the gifts of the universe. You're always deserving of something that's coming next. But what happens is, until we realize we're deserving, until we realize that. Also, too, we can't let the negativity of the shadow overpower us. We'll block ourselves. So it's important for you to be going into a space to connect with the divine, right? It's important for you to be able to go into a space right now and open the channel. You need to open your channel and listen to your higher self. You need to listen to Source. Know that there's a lot of good opportunities coming forward for us. But sometimes we can't lean into opportunity and communicate to the universe that we're ready for these things if we haven't overcome all the negativity that's still sitting within us, sitting within our space. How do you want to communicate this moon? How do you want to communicate this new moon in Libra that you are ready to be in a space, that you're ready to call in and receive these things that you desire? What does that look like? And sometimes being ready to call in something to you is saying, Spirit, I've removed all of the things that are taking up the space for me to move forward, to walk through that door. Sometimes it's like, Spirit's like, you're being such a hoarder. You got all that shit sitting in there, but if you just clear it out the way, you can walk through the door. So whether that's your self-doubt, self-sabotage, self-destruction, whether that's the old wounds of the past, whatever you're holding in your heart this season, it's got to be cleared out. And I want to say negativity especially. It's about you can't take any heaviness in your heart this next season. I feel like the universe is sending so much admiration in for you. And when I say admiration, it's like the universe loves you. And the universe is like, yeah, I want to nurture you. Yeah, I want you to feel loved, appreciated, rained down on. You know, like being gifted so much. But how can that show up and you even appreciate it if you're carrying these, you know, like even with that date reference, if a woman is used to, as we say, I don't use this term anymore, fuck boys, right? She feels all men are fuck boys. If you are indecisive that there are any good men out there, the universe is going to continue to deliver you fuck boys. And even if it delivers you a good man, your old story might be conflicting with what you receive in the present. Say, for example, right? You know, even if you go out on a good date with someone and they're doing all the right things, because you don't believe that men can do the right things, you're going to be suspicious. You're going to be operating out of the old story. You're not going to be operating out of your intuition. You're not going to be operating out of your fullest heart space. So until you overcome that indecision of getting a new story, that indecision about moving things out of your heart that no longer serve you on these next steps, you could just stay in that indecision and continue to settle for what you don't want. What do you want? Sometimes if you want something, you have to believe that you can have it, that it can show up, and it can show up in its best form, in its purest form. But if you don't get the negativity of the old stories and the old wounds and the old triggers, even if it does, you can't accept it. So what are you going to do? You know, a lot of us are sensitive. A lot of us are sensitive. A lot of us really do desire to be taken care of by the universe, right? Like, we are children of the universe. We are children of God, and we deserve to be taken care of. We deserve to be nurtured. We deserve to have what we have that's important to us, the sensitivity of that, be honored. And so if you want to see yourself in a nurturing position, taken care of by the universe, you have to believe that you can see yourself there. You know, the other day I made a post about romance, seeing yourself laying on someone's chest. But if you feel like you can't even see yourself being in that position, being nurtured by someone, or the universe bringing someone in to nurture you, and you're set on the story that, oh, no, I can't, then that's how it's going to pan out. So it's really time to make peace this season, right? And so it says, peace comes from remembering that only love is real. So all of these wounds, these triggers, these old stories, what's real now? Are they something you're still replaying? Are they still relevant to you? Or do you need to make peace from them? Do you need to move into a space of love? A lot of you might have an unstable solar plexus where it's like you don't feel like you're still in authority because that shadow, the negative aspect of your shadow, the wounds, the negativity is overpowering you still. It's over authority of you. Get a new fucking story now. There's so much beautiful things in life. People are so rigid and inflexible. They feel like they're set in their stories. Oh, I'm good. I'm not going to be flexible about shit, period. And when you're not flexible about shit, period, then you can't be stretched. You can't be expanded. How can the universe grow you and expand you and give you more to hold and more to fill you with if you're rigid and inflexible? Rigidness and inflexibility can't come with us this season. We have to be more adaptable. Even like I see with that date card, like, be open to things. Sometimes even when you're closed off to things, it's not because you can't open your heart to them. Sometimes your heart flutters and it's like it's fear. It's not the truth that you can't open yourself to. It's fear. You're scared to. But why are you scared to? When there's a possibility that you're going to be filled with something that you have never experienced before. So accept the gifts of the universe. Accept them. I feel good with this today. I feel like we're there. What are you willing to sacrifice to live and lead the life that you want, the things that you desire, right? You're going to have to give up the old narrative. You're going to have to give up the inflexibility. You're going to have to give up what's not peace, what's not love. Listen to what's making you sensitive this season and ask if it's true or false based on where you're at right now. Should you have reason to still hold on to that story? Let's say, for example, you grew up in poverty. You grew up in a not so nice situation. What's your situation now? What's your narrative now? What do you want your narrative to be? What do you hope to call into? What opportunities? How do you create that space? If you're holding on to the story of poverty, of holding on to broke, holding on to I've never had. If you hold on to I've never had, you never will have. So stop holding on to I've never had. I've never had A. Change it to I will have A. The universe is working on me having A. What's en route to me is coming because I'm open to it. So with that being said, open your heart, clear out what's not serving you, and make space for what is. Because your heart this season is going to be like the bat signal to the universe to be like, hey, I'm ready. Fill me up. And until you say I'm ready and you change the narrative, right? Because every time you say something like I've never had and I don't know what it's like, you're still saying that you're indecisive. It's still indecision because you're still saying I've never had it. So until you change that to I'm ready, I'm open, the opportunity will not present itself. And sometimes things come to us when we don't think that we're ready. And if you wait to be ready, sometimes you'll never be ready. So you got to be like, you know what? Prepare me. Whatever it is, prepare me. Excuse me, I'm asking for it. I'm ready. I'm willing. I'm going to do what it takes. Even if it's retiring some of the old self-sabotaging ways I talk to myself, the ways I say things. You got to make peace with that old narrative and the rigidness this season. Open your heart. Open your heart. Feel good about leaving it there. We're not 3636. Ashe. Look up 3636 angel number. I'm off the top of my head, I'm not sure what it is, but 3636 angel number. Okay, so like I said, Trap Witch here, the Trap Witch on Instagram. Tour dates or event dates. I throw out at the beginning. I look forward to seeing a lot of you there, meeting you in person, embracing you guys, holding space. Most spaces that I come into, people are ready to open their hearts. People are ready to pour their hearts out. Sometimes it's a whole boo-hoo crying affair because people are ready to let that shit go. So if you're ready to let a lot of shit go, especially my ATL crowd, like, this is my first event I've done in a year and a half of healing and letting a lot of my old shit go so I can come and facilitate space and be a leader that can really help you guys and help people, tap in and open up their heart and let some of that old shit go too. We're going to be doing a cacao ceremony. We're going to be doing breath work. We're going to be doing live Q&A. We're going to have such an awesome time. And I can't wait to, embrace a lot of y'all in some of your cities. We'll have some more dates and also cities coming up. But hey, October 19th, don't hesitate, even surrounding states. You might be in Alabama, you might be in Texas, you might be in Tennessee. Drive down, catch a little weekend flight. You don't know what can open up to you in community and connectivity, and you don't have to wait for your friends to join. You don't have to wait. Just come and be open and meet. Sometimes we don't know who you're gonna meet in these spaces. And the best thing about in some of these spaces, you get to meet yourself. Meeting yourself is a hell of a thing. I can't tell you how many spaces I've been in the past year and a half, although it hasn't been, I haven't been public about how many spaces I've been in where I just met myself. It's beautiful. All right, so I love you all so much. If you want to book a one-on-one session with me for your own personal things, www.thetrapwitch.com. Again, thank you for your continued support. Thank you so much for all the positive feedback that I get from you guys. I embrace it. I feel filled with love, and I feel so appreciative and grateful to be blessed with such a beautiful community. So blessings to you, and I will see you guys soon. Bye. Happy new moon, Libra.